Alright, Kirby's Dream Land. This is actually probably one of my most finished games of all time, and by that I mean I've finished it the most amount of times. It may actually be the singular game that I've finished the most. It was one of the few Game Boy games that I had as a kid, and I really adored it. And to be honest, I still love it. The whole Kirby series is fantastic. This is one of my favorites. Kirby's Adventure, probably my second most finished game of all time, is probably my favorite in the whole series. So let's give this a go. This is also really one of the only games I think I could play that I might actually be able to make significant progress in for the purposes of this series. So let's go after Wispy Woods. Well, not that we have a choice. Kirby can fly, and that is one of the main complaints about this game, which is somewhat well-founded, but I don't know. I think there's just, yeah, there's just health drinks in here. We don't need them now, of course. We are probably going to need them later, but they're not going to be as plentiful then. Really fantastic music in this game, and the stage in particular. This is probably the best-known Kirby song, I think. Now, as you can see, the animation in this game is just brilliant for a Game Boy game, especially such an early Game Boy game. At least I think it was an early Game Boy game. It was one of my first ones, at least. It's just fantastic. It's so charming. Everything is so visually appealing. But yeah, the complaint about flying is that you could fly over everything. That's not actually totally true. As you saw there, you had to defeat the boss, and flying's not going to help you at all. This level, certainly, as you can see, it's pretty easy to fly over most of these obstacles and enemies. Well, why would you do that? That doesn't make the game any more fun. And, of course, later levels complicate that anyway. Kirby's Adventure got around this brilliantly by having an awful lot of stages where you wanted to go down rather than up, which sort of made flying kind of, not useless, but not really very helpful, at least. There are a few hidden rooms and things in this game, but not nearly as many as there would be in Kirby's Adventure. Kirby's white here and pink in the other games. You might think that's limitations of the Game Boy's palette, and to a point I think that's true. I don't think there's anything out there that was there. Yeah, looking for a secret door, but it's not there. But the box art also has him as white, and in fact it took me a really long time to get used to him as pink. That kind of seemed like an error. Later on, and I always kind of thought of Kirby as the white puffball, and every other game was lying to me. I just got a magic food bag, which refills all of your health. In later games, it was referred to, I think, as the Maxim Tomato. You would think there's something out here, but I don't really think there is. But yeah, I remember when this was the magic food bag. I think Nintendo Power taught me that name, and I haven't been able to shake it since, despite the fact that every other game disagrees. Now, the point of this game is that you want to get back, I almost said win back, you want to get back all the food that was stolen by the evil King, whoops, that was not the duck button, you moron, the evil King DDD. He was a big fat penguin guy, who you probably remember from later games and certainly Smash Brothers. And you do that by defeating 4 bosses, and then going to fight DDD himself. And that was Wispy Woods we just took out without too much of a problem. Look at that. Couldn't talk there. That's one of the most glorious sequences in Game Boy history. Here we're in Castle Lo-Lo-Lo. The name should remind you of Lolo of Adventures of Lolo fame. He sort of makes a cameo appearance here. Arguably, it's just somebody who resembles him, Lo-Lo-Lo. But yeah, it's pretty much Lolo. I got the microphone before, and now I have the bomb. This stage is a little bit of a maze, but I don't think it's too bad. What was I saying? Oh yeah, there aren't many items in this game. And as you notice, Kirby, well, you didn't notice, I don't think I've swallowed anything. Kirby doesn't get anything when he swallows his enemies. It's such a staple of the series, but it actually wasn't to be found here in this game at all. I'm trying to take the most direct path I can in this stage because I don't really want to die. There is Lo-Lo-Lo. I don't think there's any joke to the fact that he's Lo-Lo-Lo instead of Lolo, apart from, of course, matching up with DDD's naming convention. Okay, that's another one of the items up in the upper left. That's a curry platter. We don't need the health drink. And this is what it does. I'm holding down the fire key, by the way. There you go. You don't always have to shoot the fire, but it sure is fun. Those bats are really... they seem bizarrely out of place, or is it just me? They look a little too real for Dreamland. Okay, so I've only taken damage once, actually, and I think... yeah, I think this is where I need to go. So as you see, the stages aren't really that difficult. There's Lololo and his sister, La La La. Lolo games are fantastic, by the way, if you haven't played those. If you like puzzle games, anyway. Speaking of which, does anybody remember the game Kickle Cubicle? Lolo kind of reminds me of that. It's quite a different game. I'm not saying it's a rip-off or anything. It's certainly not. But my god, was that game fun. Why was that never released on the Virtual Console? I'm hoping it comes to the 3DS Virtual Console, because that would be great to have on the go. I love that game. And in the Lolo games, shoving boxes around is definitely one of your prime methods of puzzle solving. But yeah, that's it. Lololo and La 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 are down. We're gonna free some more Kirbys. Yeah, I guess DDD imprisoned a bunch of... oh, I'm not supposed to talk here. DDD imprisoned a bunch of Kirbys, as well as stealing all the food. I love the music in this stage. I think most people who like the original game, their favorite song is either going to be the Wispy Woods theme or DDD's Castle theme, both of which are, without any question, pretty awesome. But this one doesn't seem to get much love, and I adore it. Second time took damage. Yeah, the water doesn't kill you, you can swim. It's obviously very shallow, so you can't swim very deep, but you can swim. Microphone here is sort of a screen clearance weapon, and by sort of, I mean exactly a. Now there's a later, more difficult mode that you unlock when you beat the first game, or the first time through, I should say. And the more difficult mode, not only, I think it reduces your health, I honestly can't remember, but it adds a lot of surprises, which is pretty cool. For example, those coconuts explode, and the one over here, I can never remember which way it falls, because it falls one way in this game and one way in the hard game. I think... oh, no. Yeah, those guys are a lot more treacherous in the advanced mode. And I guess if I were... is that a secret door? I'm so used to Kirby's Adventure, which recently came out as a 3D classic on the 3DS, and just kind of rekindled my love for that game. It's... the 3D is not all that impressive, to be honest, but the game experience is second to none. It's really one of the best games ever made, for my money. So, as you see here, even in this stage, I mean, okay, there's only 4 stages, and then DDD's Castle. Come on. But even in this stage, you can see they're not really giving you much of a chance to fly through anything. That doesn't mean the platforming's difficult. It's really not all that tough. But it still is a great deal of fun. Now this is not invincibility, by the way. I think you can still take damage with it. There's a lollipop, at least in Kirby's Adventure. I think it's also in this game. Kirby's Adventure said... oh, I want to show you this, of course. The water cools down your mouth, which is a really awesome touch, for my money. And that's what makes this game so great, really, is just all the awesome touches. No, it's not all that difficult, and so what? You know, games are supposed to be fun, not frustrating. And of course, you can have a difficult game that is, you know, a fantastic gaming experience. Super Meat Boy, which came out, is fucking brutal. Came out recently, I meant. But my god, is it fun. And the Mega Man games, of course. But, you know, experience for the sake of experience, there's something to be said for that. And I remember... growing up, oh, this spearmint leaf, which is another item. We're going to need that to fight the boss here. But growing up, I remember playing Kirby's Adventure endlessly. I would actually turn off the sound. It's a great soundtrack, but I would turn off the sound and put on some CDs. I didn't really have many. I think I had Green Day, REM, and Alanis Morissette like everybody else. And I would just stay up and play the game straight through in one sitting, and it was so much fun.